Thank you very much. So I'm going to explain today the work I did or we did with rapeseed, with zero insecticide rapeseed. So how can insurance help in in addition to other methods of risk reduction to make some incitations and help different farmers transition towards zero pesticide, zero insecticide rapeseed. This work we started doing in Diagorisk with help of Terrinovia to try to determine this, and that's what I've been working for my first year of the PhD. So, can insurance encourage growing zero insecticide rapeseed? I'm going to pass some challenges that we easily see for the zero insecticide rapeseed. We know that pesticides and insecticides cause a lot of health issues and a lot of some kind of poisoning to the general public and also especially farmers that are exposed directly to it. So there's a social inclination to reduce the use of different pesticides, but especially there's also some economical ideas that we can see directly from the declining effects of insecticides in rapeseed and the reduction of authorized insecticides given by the government. So we know from different data given us from Trinovia that a lot of the products used right now to treat different pests in rapeseed are being resistant by different pests. So we are not very effective or have lost their original effectiveness to treat against these types of damages to these types of pests. So we try to see how can an insurance policy maybe instead of avoid these types of risk, transfer and share it with all types of farmers. We also added an additional type of part, so is the regulated uncertainty, that regulations are unknown. So the government in any moment can add some products or reduce products from the market. So there's also that kind of uncertainty that we have to take into account in the moment of looking to a new system. This part I'm going to pass very, very quickly because we discussed it a lot yesterday. So how can insurance help? Is general a risk management tool. It works as a financial buffer thanks to the risk pooling concept. Farmers use pesticides as an act of self-insurance. So they look at pesticides as a way they can get insured by themselves without other additional costs. So it can help. So the idea is, how should insurance work? Should it just compensate the losses given it by the reduction or by the transition of the new methodology or the new sustainable agriculture? Or should it guide farmers towards these new resilient systems? Now I'm going to enter in detail on the models and the analysis we did for this case, for the case of pesticide rapeseed. We started with a general yield distribution for rapeseed in France, and we determined like what will be the technical premium given this different yield distribution of in the country. It's easy to see that in the north of the country, yields are higher, so premiums tend to be lower. Like that is riskier to produce rapeseed in the south than in the north, and that's what we see, especially in the country. If we look the total surfaces of rapeseed in France, rapeseed is normally grown in the north of the country because it's not as risky as the other one. I talked about other methods or the combination of insurance with other methods of risk reduction. The idea that we tested was with help of Terrinovia's rapeseed monitoring protocol, that here we call it robust rapeseed. Is basically a method where we try to, using just only rapeseed management, following a planting regimen and a strategic fertilization. So we fertilize only like in the most important times of in the time it will be the most beneficial for the crop, and we determined that it could follow a higher pest resistance, especially given the small risk, so the small losses caused by pests, but gives a higher yield stability, and especially a higher like average yield in general. This is great for an insurance policy because it reduces like the small risk, and in general it hires the yield and also the gross product that a farmer would see. So how with this can an insurance program be thought about? We know that we're trying to do some agroecological transition that's given by the what an idea on general. This agroecological transition comes with additional risk, either by the unknown and the other stuff. And this additional risk will be taken by the insurance that they can go back and help other farmers transition towards these new ideas. What is the methodology that we use in general? So we started with the yield distribution of rapeseed, the conventional rapeseed, and some race-based data given us by Terinovia, where they determined the percentage of crops that are infested by different types of pests. With these different types of pests, we determined a global pest pressure. So we added all these types of pests into one. And with this, we can, given the different hypotheses or assumptions given by the experts, I'll start right now telling that a lot of this model is based in assumptions. So we'll talk about that after. We could determine a yield distribution for this robust pest-resistant rapeseed. And given is the global pest pressure that we calculated, we finally make a lot of simulations for zero insecticide rapeseed, either for a crop resistant or a conventional rapeseed. And finally, we can, with that, do all the insurance calculations that we want. Here are some of the hypotheses that we use, all of the assumptions that we use. Given the limited data that we're working with, we make a very strong assumption that we have the same impact for every pest in every region in France. That is normally or probably not the case, but for our analysis on average, it shows a general result. We use a model using a gumball copula, if you know, to determine the correlation between yields of treated rapeseed and insect damage done. And for that, we try to test three different hypotheses with 0 correlation, 0.3 correlation, and 0.6 correlation. As we want a global impact for it, we added that insecticides, very, very strong hypothesis that insecticides have 100% effectiveness against pests everywhere. That it's a very, very strong hypothesis, and we will challenge it afterwards. But in the first part, we can see if farmers use insecticides and the insecticides kill everything, how would an insurance, could the insurance policy cover up these additional damages that would be a lot higher? These are like the general results that we have. I'm going to focus only in this part over here. We can see the average variation of yield compared to conventional rapeseed. This column over here is based only in assumptions. So the zero insecticide rapeseed would cause losses of around 10% of what we see today. A robust rapeseed that only resists against, that only increases the average and is not actually pest resistant, would cause losses around 4%. And a robust rapeseed that is also pest resistant would cost losses around 2%. And if we then go to what would the insurance premiums look like, they're basically on descending order. Zero insecticides will be a lot more expensive. The non-resistant robust would be in the middle, and the resistant crop would be in the end. So we can see like an advantage of having an interaction between an insurance policy and other types of methods. I'm going more in detail here. This is what the farmer would pay as an additional cost. So here we look at the difference in the margins. So the cost by adding a new insurance policy and adding these new types of risks. And we subtract the gains by not using insecticides. We can see that the robust zero insecticide rapeseed is actually better. It will cause gains of around, not that much, €1 per hectare for the farmer. So the interaction of both can actually help and ensure a farmer transition towards this new methodology. But we can see a lingering economical problem is that if he transitions versus a robust rapeseed treated and he still treats, there's still a gain of €57 per hectare. So there's not an economical incentive towards the transition. However, we can feel that if we do some really rough calculations, it would be around €5,000 per year for an 100 hectares farm to avoid being exposed to these dangerous types of chemicals. So is a farmer going to accept this additional cost to be exposed or not? It's up to them to see. We'll know. I can show quickly how the calculation will work with the actual, if we implemented like the methods of the MRC insurance. The average gross product would be reduced by around 20 euros per hectare. The risk cost would also be reduced by around €1, giving an additional cost of around 20 euros for the farmer on average. If we look only at the risk cost, the part over here, we know that 52 euros per hectare are the out-of-pocket insurance, basically the deductible that the farmer will have to pay additionally. It's an increment of €1 of what we had before. The amount he pays on insurance will be reduced by €6, and the amount of subsidized in total will be 19 euros per hectare. So at the end, we get that from these 80 euros per hectare, basically because of the subsidies, the farmer only has some 60 euros to pay. That's a reduction of €5. So if we subtract the savings done from suppressing all of the pesticides, we get that 1.3 euros that I exposed earlier. General results to see over here. So conventional rapeseed rises premiums a lot, around 132%. So as a strict only method to encourage agricultural transition, at least with this analysis, is not that useful. However, if we introduce other types of risk aversion, of risk reduction, like the pest-resistant robust rapeseed, the maximum premiums can increase is 32%, and even generate some gains for the farmer. Here I have a small graphic to show the solvency maybe of an insurance company. A very, very rough way to calculate it, that is that an insurer has to have at least double the amount he receives in premiums. So we determined that given the risk caused by a zero insecticide rapeseed, it would be over 32%. The risk will be over 32% of the gains that the insurance company has. So it wouldn't be that that efficient for the insurer. However, if the uses are robust pest resistance, it will be under 68% of this limit. So it could be attractive for an insurance company. If we look just of the graphical data, we remember that in the beginning the insurance premiums were a lot lower in the north than in the south. However, here we see the difference of an insurance policy with a 5% deductible. It will be higher, it will be a lot higher in the north than in the south. So the increment of premiums will be marked a lot more in the north, and will be like it will compensate disparity cost by the risk that we saw in the beginning. Finally, we can see the limits of this study. There are kind of many. The analysis shows that insurance policies could support a sustainable agriculture with rapeseed productions if they're combined with other types of risk reduction. We still have this problem that rapeseed is still more attractive than rapeseed without insecticides. So we can determine that, but we can do this analysis. Here are some more limits of the study given all the assumptions we did. But we can focus on these two over here, the 100% effectiveness of insecticides and the relationship between yield and pest loss. If we look especially in this one, I did a small analysis that what if insecticides are not 100% efficient, but only 20% efficient, so they don't destroy all of the pests in the crop, but they destroy only 25% of the pests that we find in the crop. Here, a pest-resistant zero insecticide rapeseed is a lot more attractive, and the difference between the one treated and the non-treated is a lot shorter, around 10 euros. So it's a lot more attractive either for the farmer, for the government, and for the political powers that are going to determine. And another idea that we can see that I showed earlier, that there's around 20 euros of subsidies given to the farmer if they get insured. If in some time the government decides, no, we're not going to give these subsidies to rapeseed farmers if they still are using pesticides, this value over here would be reduced to only 30 euros of gains. So in that case, given this new assumption of insecticide efficiency, zero insecticide rapeseed would be a lot more beneficial for the farmer, and we could actually see an economical incentive to move towards this new transition, to this ecological transition. What are some perspectives that we see of the future research, especially these two assumptions that we did? I started working on these two assumptions in the last couple of months. I'm not going to show the results I have at the moment because they're not final. But what we see is it's very hard to determine the actual insecticide efficiency. If we add that just to a model, we see that it's almost independent from the reduction of yields. There's no efficiency at all of insecticides. That is not true. But it's a lot harder to determine that, at least I originally imagined. And the yield, that gives a problem for the yield pest loss relationship, that we have made an assumption of a correlation index of 0.3. What we see in data is more or less the same. So we're good about it in that point. But we still have to determine the effect that has, especially for treated versus non-treated rapeseed. And that's all for me.